This is Joe.
This is Arena.
This is Nina.
This is Lyra.
At ako naman, si Amri.
And this is Caleb. And this is Eddie Podcast. And our episode for today is Peanut Butter.
So, bago natin simulan yung pinaka-main topic natin ngayon, which is virtue ethics, unahin muna natin pag-usapan yung peanut gallery issue. So, noong May 5, 2026, the NBI arrested PGMN founder Franco Mabanta along with 4 associates in an operation connected sa isang alleged extortion case that involved House Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Ayan. So that sounds like a very serious issue na talagang dapat mapag-usapan natin today, no? Kasi it's a contemporary issue that's circulating our society na ngayon, no?
Kaya nga so, bale, according sa NBI, si Mabanta allegedly demanded 300 million pesos sa kapalit para hindi ilabas yung video that links Romualdez to corruption in flood control projects.
Ayun. So, parang yun yung context ng issue, no? So, imagine na guys, like nagsascroll lang kayo sa phone nyo, sa social media, tapos may dumaan na issue. So, paano nyo malalaman kung sino sa dalawang side yung nagsasabi ng totoo, di ba? Like, on which side is telling the truth? Because for sure, both sides have strong claims.
Kaya nga that's super true. So, ayun nga, pagkatapos ng arrest, there was even an almost 2-hour video that was released by PGMN to present evidence to the controversy.
Oo, kaya nga yung professor, yung journalism professor na si Danilo Arao, weighed in, pumasok siya saying na yung video wala naman talagang pinakitang kahit anong bagong evidence, kumbaga. Kasi according to him, most ng mga evidence or most ng mga pinalabas dun sa video na yon is na-report na ng ibang media outlets.
Kaya nga siya nakakalito di ba? So, ngayon, yung mga tao parang naiiwanan sila ng maraming tanong. Like, was this even an attempt to really expose corruption? Or parang something lang to para may nangyayari pa behind the scenes?
Kaya nga, yung issue na yan is ethically important. Kasi this is not just about kung sino yung tama at yung mali, di ba? Who's right or wrong. Pero this is about the truth, your responsibility, and yung trust na utang nila sa public, di ba?
Especially nowadays when, information spreads like wildfire, yung sobrang bilis na kumalat, simpleng isang minuto lang nandyan na sa kabila. And things like this reminds us how we need to be critically thinking before believing and sharing what we see.
Kaya, doon papasok yung ating virtue ethics, kung paano siya makakatulong no, sa pag-understand on how the media practitioners, yung audiences, kung paano dapat sila mag-respond sa mga issues na ganito, di ba? Yan, kaya start natin sa ating mga virtue ethics.
Ayan. So, dun nga natin makikita kung paano papasok yung virtue ethics sa issue na yan. Kasi, di ba, hindi nga lang siya about kung sino yung tama or kung sino yung mali. Mas tinitingnan niya yung character, yung intention, and values ng mga tao na involved dun sa mismong issue na yan.
Yes, kasi minsan, di ba, kapag may online issue, ang bilis natin pumili ng side. Pero through virtue ethics, parang sinasabi niya sa atin na, wait lang, tingnan muna natin kung anong klase yung ugali or values na pinapakita ng side.
O nga, for example, sa side ng media personalities, kung ang goal nila ay ilabas yung truth about corruption para malaman ng public, then that can show courage, honesty, and a sense of justice.
Tama, kasi di ba, hindi naman madali magsalita about corruption, especially kung powerful yung mga people na involved. So, kung sincere talaga yung intention nila, makikita natin yung courage at responsibility.
Pero di ba syempre, iba pa rin yung usapan kapag ginagamit natin yung media platform para manakot or ma-pressure or yung makakuha ng pera. Kasi kapag ganun, hindi na siya courage or hindi na rin siya truth-telling.
Oo, tama nga naman. Pero kasi parang nagiging abuse influence na siya. Instead na honesty yung pinapakita, nagbumukha siyang greed, dishonesty, at manipulation.
Pero sa side naman ng mga public officials, yung virtue ethics also applies to them. Kapag may accusations of corruption, hindi dapat puro denial lang, or kapag lumabas yung issue, sasabihin agad nila na panira lang ito.
Agree ako dyan kasi yung mga public officials, expected sa kanila yung transparency at accountability, di ba? Dapat open sila sa questions at willing din silang mag-investigate properly kung wala naman silang tinatago.
And dito rin kasi papasok yung responsibility ng media users. Meaning, tayo rin as audience. Hindi porkat nakita na natin siya online, automatic, totoo na agad yung post na yan.
Kaya dapat before tayo nga mag-share ng comment or mag-comment or maniwala sa isang post, kailangan tanungin din natin sa sarili natin, na-check ko ba to, fair ba ako, or nakikisala lang ba ako sa hate.
Kasi media really is powerful.
Totoo.
It can expose yung mga truth and help people na maging aware sila. Pero pwede rin siyang makasira ng tao kapag mali or kulang or manipulated na yung information na binigay.
That's why kailangan natin ng virtues like honesty, fairness, self-control, responsibility, and wisdom. Hindi lang para sa media personalities or officials, but also for us na viewers.
So, to answer the question, virtue ethics helps us analyze the issue beyond simply asking who is right or wrong, because it focuses more on sa moral character.
Yeah, and it also helps us ask better questions like, are the media personalities acting with courage and commitment to truth? Or are they using their platform for greed and manipulation?
And sa public officials naman, are they being transparent and accountable? Or are they just protecting their image and trying to silence criticism?
At syempre, tayo rin as audience, kailangan din nating mag-reflect as we are being responsible media users, or are we just sharing and believing things without checking?
So, sa madaling salita, virtue ethics reminds us that this issue is not just black and white. Hindi lang siya about choosing sides.
Yeah, and it's also about looking at the values, intentions, and character behind the actions of everyone involved.
Therefore, yung peanut gallery issue shows why good character matters in media and public life. Media should be used to seek truth and serve the public, not to threaten, manipulate, or mislead.
And as media users, kailangan din natin gawin ang part natin by practicing honesty, fairness, courage na din at integrity sa bawat information na pinapaniwalaan at sinashare natin online.
Okay, to correlate virtue ethics naman in media use, especially for the media practitioners, every virtue naman ay pwedeng ma-apply or should be applied rather sa job nila. But number one virtue talaga na need nila is truthfulness. It should be the foundation of journalism. It doesn't just mean that they should be avoiding lies. It goes beyond that. Their journalism should always center on objective reality. They should not just pick certain facts to fit into a narrative that they want to show without providing all the necessary context behind it. Like, for example, yung isang issue ng PGMN about kay Congressman Marvin Villarif saying na incomplete and abandoned na daw yung 71 million gymnasium project, when in reality, it was just the first phase of construction. And that is one of a example na bina-violate yung virtue na truthfulness because they didn't present the whole context behind it. And yung next na important virtue naman is justice, because as media practitioners, your job is to present both opposing sides without applying your own biases in your content. So I think pwede rin mapasok yung virtue na temperance dito, because with all the negativity in this world, you can easily be triggered, especially when dealing with issues that are heavily centered in politics. And having biases as individuals, it's normal. That is your own opinion and your own point of view of situation. But your job as a media practitioner is to deliver the truth and make people aware about it and let them form their own opinions and thoughts about a certain situation. And yung last, most important virtue is fortitude. It is the courage to stick to ethical principles in the face of immense pressure, whether that pressure comes from powerful politicians, advertisers, financial temptations, and more. it means that you should have the backbone or the courage to publish an parang uncomfortable truth that powerful people want hidden from the public, but grounded enough to admit that you committed a mistake. So, in summary, a good media practitioner treats public communication as public trust. Their ultimate guiding question for any public claim should be, am I publishing this to enlighten the public, or am I weaponizing information for personal, political, or financial leverage?
So, moving on, what virtues do students need when consuming news or social media content? Students also have an important role since social media is one of the main sources of information today. They need critical thinking, intellectual humility, responsibility, and empathy. Instead of immediately believing or sharing viral posts about issues like peanut gallery controversies, students should first verify the facts through credible sources. Intellectual humility reminds us that we may not know the whole story, while empathy helps us avoid contributing to online harassment or cancel culture. Responsibility means understanding that every share, comment, or reaction can influence others.
Ayun. And alam nyo, siguro may isa lang din ako na-add kasi there's this one question that's been really circulating, no? Like, paano ba natin may iwasan or how can we avoid reacting impulsively, 'di ba? Like, kasi when we say impulsively, basta-basta, 'di ba, no? So, how can we avoid reacting impulsively when claims online are conflicting? 'Di ba? So meron kasi tayong tinatawag na pause and assess strategy. Wherein, una, we need to spot kung ano yung physical trigger. Like kung nakaramdam ka ba ng sudden na galit or sudden na spike sa heart rate mo, parang biglang bumilis yung tibok ng puso mo, ganun. A urge to type a very furious comment or sabihin natin na magko-comment ka na lang ng hindi mo na pag-iisipan, di ba? Or a wave of anxiety. So you should stop typing kasi you might never know kung ano yung magiging result or kung ano yung magiging effect nung pagko-comment mo nang hindi mo pinag-iisipan, 'di ba? So yung emotional friction kasi na yon is exactly kung ano yung nag-sensationalize online content para mag-design na mag-trigger ng human emotions. And then mayroon tayong drop the anchor or 10-second pause. So remind natin yung sarili natin na we don't need to have a final opinion on this in the next 5 minutes. So give yourself like explicit permission to be undecided. Saying na I don't know enough yet. Wala pa tayong like hindi pa natin alam ng sobra yung content or yung context ng issue. So kaya dapat talaga tayo mag-perform ng background check, alamin natin both sides, 'di ba? Kasi tulad ng sabi kanina, how will we know kung sino yung tama if both sides have a very strong claim, 'di ba? And syempre, check natin yung proximity ng source. So tingnan natin kung who is making the claim. Sino bang gumagawa ng claim na yon? Like eyewitness ba siya, researcher ba siya, reviewed data or commentator lang ba sa social media? So tingnan natin yung claim kung dapat bang pagkatiwalaan yung nag-comment na yun, 'di ba? Kapag gumawa tayo ng background check of the issue, like ano ba to? Like, tama ba yung fact na sinasabi niya? Or is this just like another rage-baited comment? Diba? And syempre, i-map natin yung consensus o di kaya yung mga outliers. Kumbaga, instead na tinitingnan natin yung dalawang random na internet opinions, diba? Tingnan natin kung anong sinasabi ng broader field. Kumbaga, is this one-sided by a consensus of experts? Or di kaya yun namang other side na nag-rely sa single sa opinionated comments ng social media users? So, kumbaga, ang golden rule na lang nito is, if an online claim makes you feel like immediately triggered or anxious about something, actively niyang minamanipulate yung emotions mo. So you need to treat your emotions as a flashing yellow light para mag-slow down. So dapat natin munang i-consider yung mga yon, yung pagba-background check, yung pag-check natin if yung nakita ba nating fact or information is reliable or no. And dapat talaga nating pag-isipan kung anong i-comment natin kasi we might never know kung sino yung ma-offend kung sino yung maapektuhan ng comment natin or who is right and who is wrong, 'di ba?
So, to wrap everything up, the peanut gallery issue reminds us that today's digital age, hindi na sapat yung basta-basta ka lang pumipili lang ng side kapag may conflicting issues sa online. Through virtue ethics, natutunan natin na it's not just about who's right or wrong, but also about the character and the values behind every action. For media practitioners, importante ang pagiging truthful, fair, responsible, and courageous when delivering information. At para naman sa ating mga estudyante at sa mga media consumers, we should practice prudence, intellectual humility, and responsibility by first fact-checking things and listening to different perspectives. And ayun nga, thinking before we react or share posts. In the end, being a responsible media user isn't just about finding the truth. It's about building good character and using social media in a way that helps instead of harming others.
Ayan. So, alam mo, highlight ko na lang din siguro yung last na sinabi ni Amri na in the end, being a responsible media user isn't just about finding the truth, di ba? It's about building good character and using the social media in a way na nakakatulong tayo, hindi yung nakakasakit tayo. So, since lahat naman tayo is mga media users, we should all be responsible media users. Dapat alam natin kung paano tumingin ng totoo sa hindi, 'di ba? Like we should know, like i-consider dapat natin yung mga factors na pwedeng maka-affect sa mga decisions na ginagawa natin through social media. Ayan, okay. So siguro diyan na magtatapos yung ating peanut butter episode para sa podcast na Edi Podcast. Anyway, so we're gonna see you guys again next time if my podcast ulit. Bye!
Bye, guys!
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys!